If you're a gardener or simply someone interested in conservation, you may be interested in the St. Louis Audubon Society's upcoming Native Plant Expo and Sale. The executive director of the St. Louis Audubon Society, Mitch Leachman, is joining me today to talk about what's coming up really this weekend. So let's first talk about, this is a native plant expo and sale. And when we say native plant, we mean native to Missouri, correct?
Native to Missouri, native to the Midwest.
Okay.
And it is a critical point because the benefit to our environment is to populate it with native plants, supporting our birds or butterflies, the monarch butterfly we were talking about before the show. All those animals require native plants for their food, for their reproduction, for their living. Some of them can get certain benefits from non-native plants, but emphasis on limited and certain benefits. So we really need native plants to populate our landscapes for the benefit of those animals.
So give me some example, because we all might think we know what a native plant is or know some examples, but we could be incorrect. So give me some examples. I think we have a graphic of the one we'll go back to it earlier. It's the 4 images of the plants. Those are all native. Can you tell me what those are, or some other examples?
Well, one of the, and we have a number of graphics, but one of the easiest examples of a native plant is purple coneflower.
Okay.
Is
that in this one?
People see that in the landscape a lot. In this graphic, we have a milkweed plant, okay, which is the lower center graphic, and that people are getting to be familiar with because of the monarch butterfly. Mm-hmm. The monarch butterfly requires milkweed to reproduce. So without milkweed, we would ultimately not have any monarchs, mm-hmm, and their population is at risk right now. Mm-hmm. But the other group of plants that people can appreciate as being native, and you're going to be talking about it here in a few minutes, is our large trees, our oak trees, our hickory trees, our maples. Most of the trees that dominate our suburban neighborhoods, the big canopy trees, are native trees. Mm-hmm. And those are all critical parts of a healthy ecosystem.
So, and why does it, you mentioned it matters because it forms into the bigger part of the ecosystem. Is that ultimately why it's important that when you go to just the average person, even a nursery, that you should lean more towards native plants and flowers than non-native?
Well, it's finding a place for them.
Okay.
I like to tell people that if you have plants in your landscape that might be heritage plants, grandmother plants, plants that were handed down through generations, and that happens a lot in people's lives. Well, that's fine, but just find a space in the landscape for natives. Find a place for a pollinator garden. Find a place for a little shrubby hedgerow for songbirds. It doesn't have to be the expense of plants that you enjoy, that you are familiar with.
Mm-hmm. And this may seem like a sort of naive question to ask, but now we're in the day where people are using insecticides and pesticides. We should assume that native plants flourish better, correct? In their natural environment, correct? Or
yes. If you have well-established native plant community, you're not looking at supplemental watering. Mm-hmm. They will tolerate a wide variety of St. Louis area conditions because they evolved here over long periods of time. And the pesticides, herbicides, et cetera, is just not something that's typically necessary when you have a good, natural, balanced system. We use those chemicals so often, and we're using them on plants that evolve someplace else, mm-hmm, and they're being attacked by something that they have no defense against because there's no other parts of the ecosystem that are helping.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the event itself, what takes place there. So it's an expo and sale, and I know that the graphic we have, it says trade, buy, bring, so it's a combination of things.
Oh, absolutely, it's all of those things. It is 9 to 3 at the Bottle Works in Maplewood this Saturday. And yes, we will have a native plant retailer on site, but we're also bringing a lot of plants and seeds of our own for swap or simply giving away. Mm-hmm. If folks bring plants or seeds that they want to share with us, then call it a swap. If they don't have anything to bring, then call it a giveaway.
And this is, a fun event, but there really is a serious side to this. We need to encourage people to do this. I mean, what happens if we don't do anything, if there isn't the message out there for people to do this?
Well, it's serious and it's also inspirational. Mm-hmm. And I like to emphasize, perhaps more than even the serious nature of what we need to do for our environment, is the pleasure we get out of it. Because quite frankly, what can happen in a native plant landscape with monarchs and birds and everything else that you can get in that space is so much more interesting than you'll get with ornamental plants.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Just a more exciting space.
All right, no, thank you for bringing this up. This is a really interesting topic. I'm sorry we don't have more time, but we've got the information there on the screen. Go check it out. Go, buy, swap, see what's there. The Native Plant Expo and Sale. It's taking place this weekend from 9 to 3 at Schlafly Bottle Works, right there in Maplewood. You can't miss it. Free admission, donations are welcome. And beyond it being for a good cause, it's something that you can plant in your garden and really start to learn more about and invest in our natural environment here in Missouri. For more information, go to stlouisaudubon.org. And Mitch, thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
All right, well, stay tuned with STL TV Live. We'll be back with more right after this.